Mr. Ivan Batty, please come forward. You're going to be speaking on DS-19219 Environmental Greenlands System Discussion Paper. This is from OEAC 1958. This is in regards to comments that will be going to the Region of Durham. And you're welcome to come forward, please, sir. And you'll have 5 minutes for your delegation once you've got yourself settled. Just hold on. Hi, Miss Batty. How are you? Good to see you.
Hi, Mayor Kerner. It's nice to see you. I'm here on, I have no interest in 219. I have a letter into the clerk, and you have an email to that effect, and I'm here to discuss DS-19213.
That item has been already decided on and passed by council, so it's not on the agenda this evening.
I understand.
Yeah, it was dealt with on November 29th.
Yes, but I'm here for the posted agenda for today.
Okay.
And that is on the agenda today.
I understand that. It was dealt with on Friday. It was passed by council, and that report has already moved through the system. So unfortunately, we can't have a delegation in regards to this particular item because it's not in front of council at this time.
All right, I understand that too, Mr. Mayor, but the document that you put forward contained an error, and a significant error.
Yes.
And I do believe that you should deal with it, and the letter that all of your councilors have addresses that issue specifically. If you can't deal with it, I understand, but I really think you should. Okay,
I appreciate it, Ms. Batty. I'm just following our rules. I'll make sure that, I'm pretty sure that everybody got your correspondence. If not, I'll make sure that correspondence is shared with them, and I'll make sure that I circle back to you to make sure that that's happened, sir.
Thank you. By the way, your clerk did get a letter explaining that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Batty. Mr. Meloche, Mr. Greg Meloche, good evening, sir. You're going to be speaking on Corp 1997, sir.
Good evening.
Just let me get there. Mr. Meloche, good to see you again, sir. You're here to speak on Corp 1997 change of time schedule in regards to our regular council meetings. Sir, you have 5 minutes. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I became aware of this, and I read the wording of the motion. I have a few comments on the wording and the inferences. But prior to that, I did a survey of the remaining municipalities within Durham Region, they being Bonneville, Ajax, Pickering, and Whitby, and also the 3 northern townships. All of them have their meetings on Mondays in the evening. Most of them start at 7 o'clock, some of them start at 6:30. Now, it was mentioned in the wording again of the motion that regional council meets in the daytime. They do, but I've attended a number of their meetings, and we have 5 regional councilors. Their agendas are very, very large, which virtually necessitates a daytime meeting. If they started their meetings in the evening, they'd be running till 1, 2, 3 in the morning. So it's not a valid comparison to compare a meeting of Austria Council and Regional Council. It was mentioned also in the wording that the ending times, the finishing times of some Austria Council meetings sometimes, occasionally, run late. And they do, 11, 12, 1. They sometimes finish early, in addition, 8:30 and 9. I don't think they run late that often. Okay? It was mentioned again in the wording of the motion that for some people, for some residents, it's a challenge to attend evening meetings. It's a challenge to attend daytime meetings. It's a challenge to attend any meeting. So I don't understand what's being suggested or implied there. I just don't think it's valid. It was also mentioned that it's a challenge, that there's a challenge of scheduling special committee or council meetings. Again, I don't understand that. There's five weekdays. They don't have to be on Mondays. You can have meetings as you do, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I think there's lots of opportunity for scheduling special council or committee meetings. Now, I didn't go to the corporate services meeting where this was discussed, but I watched it online and the archive video, and a couple of comments that were made, which I agree with, by Councillor Nicholson. he makes reference to the fact, and this was my reaction when I heard this, that it's the knee-jerk reaction, the most common reaction of most people who become aware of this is that the changes will be made for the convenience of the councillors, not for the convenience of public. I think that will be the general reaction, and that's my reaction. Also, Councillor Nicholson made reference to the fact that everybody who ran for office knew the terms and conditions of employment and the times of the meetings. Okay, this was, from my recollection, this was not discussed by any candidate during the election. Okay? Now, if you proceed with these changes, you will be, certainly within the region, you will be the exception or the anomaly, as you currently are, in remunerating chairs and vice chairs of your committees. So you will be the exception. I was going to mention, but it's already been mentioned again by Councillor Nicholson, that you should have a public that this motion should be tabled and you should have a public consultation, and I will agree with that completely. My own position on this is, I'm trying to read my own writing here. I think it should be left as is. I think more people most people work through the day. More people are available to go to an evening meeting than a daytime meeting. So that is it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Meloche. Always a pleasure to be able to have you. Councillor McConkie?
How did you know I was going to ask?
Oh, I just knew.
I didn't have my hand up yet.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
Good evening, Mr. Meloche.
Good evening.
Your comment that the majority of people work during the day and coming to an evening meeting is more convenient. I know if you watch some of the web stream, I think the comments about the committee meetings being in the afternoon where the bulk of the work happens. So if the majority have to work during the day and come to a committee meeting, they're taking time off work during the week. And if the council meeting is also during the day, then they end up taking 2 days off work. Would you see that as being onerous to someone?
Not across the board, but more people work through the daytime, so yes, that would be the case.
So with a change from the evening to the daytime and not having that balance that we do now, day and evening, all day, that's, I think, more onerous on someone that works 9 to 5.
I think they'd be less available. It would be more inconvenient for them.
Thank you. And I appreciate you mentioning the region and the difference, because I think a lot of the municipalities that have taken on the daytime meetings are the large municipalities or regional municipalities, like the City of Toronto, big budget, big population, the regional municipalities. But in your research, did you look at any that actually had these public meetings before changing?
No, I didn't research it that thoroughly, but what you say makes sense. Obviously, a large city would have a larger agenda. They have to start early in the day.
And would it surprise you to know that I looked at actually the City of London, and they had an online survey from March until September asking the public for input, and they're still having their evening meetings?
Interesting.
Yeah, I think key, you heard, and it was part of your delegation, you believe that there should be public input.
Yeah.
Thank you
By
very
the way,
much.
I didn't mention during my delegation, but there's a third option, which is you don't have to start at 9:30 in the morning. It doesn't have to be 9:30 versus 6:30. You could start at 5 in the afternoon or 1:30. You could start at any number of times, but I don't think you run that late that often.
And, the fact that some people have considered, making decisions at 10 o'clock at night maybe not being the most effective decisions, but you're aware in the city we have firefighters that work 24 hours. We have real estate agents that are out selling $1 million homes after midnight. It's not that unusual to make decisions late in the evening.
I think you underrate people who think that they can't think straight at 9 or 10 early evening.
Yeah.
I'm sure they can.
Thank you very much for your delegation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Meloche. Greatly appreciate it. I hope you have a good evening. If I don't see you, we wish you all the best of the season, sir.
Thank you.
Margot McNabb. Margot McNabb? Ms. McNabb, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good. I'm going to ask you to pull that microphone just a little bit closer. You move a little bit closer to that. Once you're comfortable and ready, you have 5 minutes for your delegation, so welcome to City Hall. The floor is yours.
Thank you. It seems that I'm touching on some of the same points as Mr. Milosh regarding the council meeting change from evening to daytime. I also did a brief survey on the other local municipalities in Durham Region. Ajax first Monday, Whitby, the council of the whole, the first and then the second Mondays, followed by council meeting on the third Monday. Clarendon, Monday at 7, planning first week, then joint spending committee, then council the following week, all evening meetings. Skugog General Purpose Committee, daytime, then Monday, December 16th for their council at 6:30. Historically, council meetings had more discussion of the current issue, and committee was more background and research function, with council making the final decision. Now it seems that council has evolved into a formalization of the process. I'm actually quite dismayed that the culture of our municipal council seems to be being diminished. Regional council was designed back in 1972 to streamline the major issues of the area, with local council taking on the individual issues. The public was engaged. I understand why smaller municipalities within Durham Region can operate from a committee of the whole, but Oshawa has more complex needs. We need to be open to more, not less, public scrutiny. If there are to be daytime meetings, let them be committee meetings only. Changing the issue flow from local to regional and then possibly back to local by obscuring the meeting process to daytime only is not in the best interest of the taxpayer. Councillors were elected based on the current job description. Staff are salaried, and occasional evening meetings are covered in their job descriptions, and they get significant benefits and tenure that the general tax-paying public do not often enjoy. Meetings that occasionally run late are offset by those that finish earlier on time. It's not acceptable to change the job description after the fact. Such a significant change needs to be part of an election discussion. Oshawa is not a one-tier government like Toronto, nor an upper-tier regional government like Durham Region. We should not be trending to operations to operate on that level with daytime council meetings. The public may watch council by web streaming for general interest, but nothing beats real-time council attendance for the issues that person is particularly interested in. Changing the council meeting time to daytime is such a cultural shift to Oshawa history that it needs to be reconsidered. Please leave council meetings in the evening. It's much easier for a wide range of the public to attend. A little bit ad hoc as well. I was born in Oshawa, and my mother and I used to sit when I was a teenager and listen to council meetings. Mayor Naylor, Lyman Gifford, Christine Thomas. I just can't believe that we're changing the culture of this city. And thank you.
Ms. McNabb, I greatly appreciate your delegation, and thank you very much. We'll have questions from members of council if you'll just wait there. Councillor Nicholson, you have the floor, sir.
Ms. McNabb, thank you for coming in. You've been at many, many councils over the years, and great experience in how we operate. A former mayor once referred to this chamber as this is the people's chamber. The city council belongs to the people. It's their people's fulcrum of where the council's policy and the people's opinion gets a chance to interact. If we move to no longer a people's chamber, but a councillor's chamber, do you believe that's going to change the perception of how this chamber interacts with our community?
In my general working practice, I'm not only occasionally attending Oshawa, but also regional and other planning committees around the area. I just really feel that changing this meeting time to a daytime meeting makes a lot of processes within the municipal government very awkward. I'm just floundering on why they would do this.
All right. Second question I wanted to put, and just ask you to comment on this, if you could. I noted that the Oshawa Generals, when they play their games, don't tend to start at 9:30 in the morning because no one could show up. They're working. Does that same anecdotal approach seems to also impact wide range of many businesses in this town, especially those entertainment-oriented business, tourist businesses? You open when people are available. Does that, now we're looking at we're going to be closed when people are available and open when they're not. Is that a correct analogy?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Right, thank you.
Ms. McNabb, thank you very much for your delegation. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for coming out on this winter night. Wish you and your family all the best through the holiday season. Thank you. So we have some correspondence to be dealt with. I'm wondering, CNCL 1974 from various residents in opposition of Corp 1997 and correspondence CNCL 1975 in support of the recommendation. Can we refer this to Corp 1997, please? Move it, and seconded by? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.